Do 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 do. Your video is late. It's not Christmas or Boxing Day. Welcome to Hold and Modify, the holiday video. This is a late Christmas video, isn't it? Why am I showing a Christmas intro? Well, I had stuff to do on Christmas, and this video had some technical issues, but I did want to get it out. It isn't quite 2023 yet, so it's almost still relevant. We just had Christmas, we just had Boxing Day, so let's make up a new day called Christmas Q Day. Hold and Modify Day. So we've got this 4000. When we last saw, I put the BFG back into it, and with the 016, it was working great. So all this video is going to be is to get this sucker buttoned back up. I do want to get the CD-ROM drive working, which you don't even see here because I pulled it out. But I want to get it put back in and connected because I've actually got drivers and whatnot for the Xsurf sitting on it. Now, of course, I could go to AmiNet and download the drivers or go to the website and do it, but why not use a CD-ROM drive? We have it here. And also, there's other stuff on CD I have for the Amiga that this is my only Amiga besides the CD32. I also do have an A570 for the 500. I haven't really shown you guys yet, but that's probably for another video. But I just want to get this 4000 put back together and hopefully up and running. So I got to find a spot over here where I am running out of space to get this going. So let's dive into that. All right, with a lot of wrangling and mangling and mishandling, I did get the Xsurf in there. I did have to pull the Retina card out. I am going to put the Retina back in, but I am mindful that it wasn't working once I installed the 060, so that could be another bridge to cross here. Okay, so we have done a lot to this 4000. Putting her back together, a lot of wires got moved around. Not always the greatest thing in the world, so let's see what happens here. All right, fired her up. We got a high-low. The hard drive light is on solid. That's the BFG doing its normal thing. The CD-ROM light is on solid, and it just went out. Let's make sure there's no CD-ROM in there. Okay, there isn't. So what is it doing? Hard disk light is on solid. Also, there's a chance that because I've now plugged the CD-ROM drive in, I had to switch what part of the cable I'm using, and I'm wondering if the flippity-flop of the cables, master-slave type deal, has caused a problem. So the hard drive light has gone out, but we still don't see anything. We can switch the old box here. Oh, there we go. All right, well, it looks like it's working. By the way, this is the Retina screen, so that confirms that this is now working. It didn't work before, but now it's working. So while I will be using Roadshow and Roadie like I used over on the 1200, and I'm sorry we're off screen. Let me fix that for you. So we're going to go ahead and use this AmiKit EasyNet just to see if the CD-ROM drive works. This also, it does have the driver on it for the Xsurf. I'm going to go ahead and open this CD-ROM drive up and see if 3.2.1 magically can see it. I don't know. I have no idea. It's making a lot of noises. Sounds like it's erasing the disk. Like a space battle's going on. That CD, that does, it sounds, I don't know if you can hear this, you probably can't, but the CD-ROM drive down there sounds like it's doing G.I. Joe versus Cobra laser battle from the 1980 cartoon. Oh boy. Yeah, so even if double-clicking this would bring up the CD, I don't think it's going to matter, because that sounds terrifying. I'm going to hit eject and I'm going to duck. So what I'll have to do is get Roadshow sneaker netted over here on a floppy disk. Roadshow Roadie, which means I'll need to zip it up. So let me do that. All right, I'm back, and I don't have Roadshow installed yet on this 4000. Why is that? There's no way I can sneakernet it because I don't have a compact flash setup on this 4000. I can just pop in and out like the 1200. So I'm going to need to actually eject the hard drive on this 4000, the compact or the SD card that it has, and I'm going to need to take it into WinUEE and basically do the Roadshow install over there. Okay, so we're back here with the 4000, and once again, it's taking its time to boot. This is a new behavior. This might be because I have the Roadshow. This might be because I have the Xsurf installed. I don't remember if folks had said that once the Xsurf card is installed, it might take a while to boot up, but I'm definitely seeing a little bit of a lag on boot up. Not terribly, but just a little bit. So yeah, I apologize for the janky interlace flickery mode we're in. I wanted to get, I was running this in WinUE and I had to get it set up over there without the Retina card. So what I'm going to do now is go to Workbench and get us back into happier mode. All right, so we'll use this because this is a fast mode. It's 256 colors, has a nice zippy screen. Remember, this is a Retina card. This is like one of the slowest RTG cards out there. So not ideal, but we'll go ahead and say save. Now, Workbench, yes, will disappear. So we click back over, and here we go. We're back to our nice, happy, fuzzy land of Retina. Now, the reason I did this is because I did not install all of the Roadshow and all the drivers and all the stuff on WinUE. I just copied the files I needed onto this hard drive, so we can do it all over here like we're supposed to, quote unquote. These are beautiful Dopus colors, as you can see. Very exciting. Go over here to installers, and I have a folder called Amiga Networking. So the first thing we can do is go to the Xsurf drivers and just unpack those. Oh, I did it too slow. Click, click, click. All right, yeah, if you click in here to here into the RAM disk, Dopus, actually any folder, Dopus will just automatically unpack it. So this should be pretty simple. There's the device, and read the README here. Really? Why isn't Dopus just going to open this up? Yeah, I should just open over here. Yeah, so this is the new latest driver. I mean, it's new from like 2018, but it's an all-in-one driver. It's their Xsurf 100, their Santa 2 driver. Supposedly it does everything. There's no more separate versions for different CPUs, TCP stacks, or debugging. It's supposed to operate correctly. If it doesn't require additional configuration, there's some stuff you might have to do. I'm simply he's like, just try it because it should just work. So with the 1200, I was using that 3Com driver. So what I will do is come over here into the land of devs. And there is no internet folder yet because, I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, there's no internet folder here because I've not actually installed Roadie, Roadshow, any of that stuff. So I'm just going to copy over the Xsurf 100 device for now. Not the Xsurf.device. I think that's the old 10 megabit one. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I could be completely wrong when I'm already jumping way too ahead probably and doing this wrong. Anyway, let's continue with that because that's how I operate. Come over here. We've got the go back to installers, go back to Amiga Networking, and now we're going to go into all of this good stuff. So I've got my Roadshow. I think I already unpacked it, right? I did. All right, so what we can do, now I don't have a network cable running to this card yet, so I'm not worried about that yet. We go into storage, installers. So what's going on in here? Okay, so there's Roadshow, then there's the update. Right, all right. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to install Roadshow. Now I did this once before on the 1200. You guys watched me do it, or maybe you didn't. I don't remember anymore. Maybe I didn't actually show this process. I usually don't show installations because they're fully ridden with grief and mistakes, and it takes so long, and I know there's so many channels that show you every single little thing that goes wrong. I tend not to do that. I show you the stuff that goes wrong that I can figure out. Then we make phone calls. I'm going to try and do this here. Would you like to install special versions of the Roadshow BSD socket library and the PPP blah blah blah? Sure. Where do you want the documentation? A drawer called Roadshow will be created there. Well, let's put it in work. That's where I'll put everything Roadshow. Okay, so it's doing its stuff. This is, again, this is an SD-based hard drive, not a spinner. Yeah, it says it's letting you know that your stack is complete. Know that no network interfaces are configured yet. Which means you can't do anything. You need to reboot your Amiga. So what I'm going to do is grab a network cable, plug it in, so that we start this whole reboot process and I start trying to configure stuff. We're not fighting the fact that I don't have a network cable. All right, let's do that. All right, so we are back. Oh wait, there isn't. You know what? There's an update to Roadshow. I just would have assumed the latest version would have had, but there is this 1.14 here. No, it does say Roadshow appears to be up to date. You don't need to do anything else. Okay. So now we're going to go back over to Dopus and figure out where Roadie is, as I'm not seeing it. So we'll go back over here to work. I know this is really exciting. And in Roadshow, there's all this stuff. I don't see Roadie because I don't think I copied it over, right? I keep remembering it's an extra program. It does not come with Roadshow. Yeah, so there's Roadie. Okay, so what I can do just to be safe, let's dump Roadie into RAM disk over here. Yeah, it looks like it's just a simple little program you run. All right, so we'll go back over to Roadshow if I could learn how to use an Amiga again. Well, it doesn't help that my left control key doesn't work. Well, it works. It's just jammed because the button's missing. Okay, so work. There's Roadshow. And we can go ahead and just copy everything that's Roadie into there. And we'll get a recoverable alert. That's always fun. So the 68060 chip is extremely toasty right now. In fact, I would say it is too hot to touch, which is dangerous, considering it's not overclocked. So I'm going to go ahead and get that fan I have for the 68060 mounted right now. Alright, so we've got my Noctua temporarily sitting on top of the 060 with no fins, by the way. Don't have a fin stack for it yet, but it is pulling up quite a bit of air. I put the rubber feet on it so it has a nice little gap, so it is actually able to suck air in, and also that way the fan doesn't actually hit the top of the chip. But it is down there and it is blowing up warm air. We can go back to where we were at. Roadshow, and there's Roadie. I recognize the little Roadie icon. Usually I just leave that out. So that if we're ever going back into here, then we're just going to be configuring stuff. So my guess is if I say up here, interface. Now, see, it says dev net interfaces. You don't see anything in there. So if we go to devs, we pick this. This is not be a Roadshow interface file. Okay, so I'm already getting that wrong. What Roadshow is looking for when you go to this interface file, this is the configuration file that lets it know what device you're using. So on my 1200, it's a file called 3C589, which is the 3Com file. On the 4000, I'm assuming it would be like the name of the Xsurf. Did the original Xsurf install Dingus have a file like that in it? Is that one of those things I did a classic skip past? I mean, not really. There's just the device and the text file. So, is it just something I have to create? Because if you go to Roadshow, there is nothing in here that's like, here's files that you're supposed to, I mean, there's extras, install extras, search, replace, make file, that's nothing. Workbench, some stuff, you know, it adds all this stuff when you install it. Net interfaces, oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Roadshow does come with this stuff. There's a whole folder called Net Interfaces in the Net Interfaces folder in the Roadshow storage. Cute. You poor bastard. All right. So now we'll go to Net Interfaces and we'll copy over the one we need, the Xsurf 100. How about that? Fascinating, right? You don't read the instructions and you try to do this on your own like me. This is what happens. So now interface. Hey, look at that. And I'm going to do D8ZP, yes, 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 yes. Unit 0 for sure, why not? Save changes. Just letting you know it's going to do a bunch of stuff. It says to disconnect, reconnect, but I haven't actually hit connect yet. So hit connect, and it's going to ask you, you want to connect? It says, please be patient. So it's ghosted right now, so you wait. It says, blah, 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 found stuff, found stuff, found stuff. Good. Okay, now I don't have anything installed like AWeb because I'm an idiot. And when I brought the SD card over to WinUEE, should have copied eyebrows or AWeb to it, right? I didn't do that. So what we can do is we can do ping. That's Google. Looks good. Yeah. No loss. Okay. Awesome. And we can do show net status. So yeah, she's working. That was it. That was easy. That was easy. So if you don't read the instructions, and I didn't, because this is Q, and this is YouTube's most poorly produced, underproduced Amiga channel. Yeah, you're gonna install your network card, obviously, plug in a network cable to it, and install Roadshow. Then go to Roadshow's folder, its extras, its net drivers, and pick the card that you've got that you're going to use as your network card, and copy that into the network folder. Now I'm going to put that on Roadshow, honestly, because when you install Roadshow, maybe they could ask you, hey, are you installing any of these cards? Select from the list, like they do with, like other people do, like P96 does with RTG cards. It gives you a list of cards, and you click the button, and then that way Roadshow would be like, okay, I'm going to copy the Xsurf 100 over for you, so that when you go to configure me, it's already sitting there waiting, and you don't have to make a YouTube video like this guy did here, showing that he doesn't know what he's doing because he doesn't read the manual. So that would have been helpful. And then once that's up and running, yeah, this program Roadie is super cool because it just puts a front end on all of this. If I didn't have this Roadie front end, this video would be 3 times as long because I'd be going through shell and trying to execute stuff, and it would just be a nightmare. So Roadie is really awesome that it gives you this kind of cool, easy to use front end. But now let's get Amiga web browser on here, eyebrows or something, and make sure that it really does work in a way that looks more visually pleasing than just this. Okay, we are back yet again, and now I actually have some of those other things that I needed, like eyebrows. So I'll go ahead and fire up Dopus, go back over to storage, get over to the RAM disk, go to installers, and if we go to Amiga Networking, now we have eyebrows. Yay! So we've got to get MESL, MUI, and eyebrows all installed. All this stuff has to happen, so it'll be just a second. Let's unpack eyebrows first. Next, we'll unpack AMI SSL. Now, of course, I can do this to RAM because I have a gigantic amount of memory. I have like 132 megs of RAM, fast RAM, so it's no worries there. By the way, if you ever need to extract LHAs really fast, do it in Amiga Shell. Don't use Dopus. Amiga Shell is way faster than Dopus. So while we're here, let's go to the S and just copy that MUI key over there. Now the eyebrows key will have to go into the actual eyebrows install folder if I remember correctly. Actually, no, we'll install MUI first, since everything seems to depend on that. Now we've got MUI. Now we can go ahead and install eyebrows. And we'll go ahead and put this in work as well. It says a drawer name eyebrows will be created. Thank you. I'm glad. I really appreciate when all the installers do that, when they actually create the folder for you. Because sometimes it's 50-50 and we just don't know. So it's detecting I have a 60 and a 60 already. So yeah, we know that's all working. We'll do 256 color type. And you're probably like, well, why don't you do 24-bit true color? I mean, this is just for interface stuff. And honestly, with this Retina card, running in 16-bit mode is really sluggish. Running in 24-bit mode is really, really slow. So it's more like the Retina card gives your Amiga AGA capabilities with higher resolutions. I know that sounds silly because this is a 4000. Why on earth, right? Well, the Retina does do 256 colors at 800 by 600, and it does it really fast. I mean, if you put your 4000 in high-res interlace mode, 256 color mode, yeah, it can do it, but it's not 800 by 600, and it's a little sluggish. So the Retina does have some benefits, even not being run in true color. Now, that is just my objective opinion, but, once you start running it in 16-bit mode and 24-bit mode, you kind of quickly realize, ooh, this sucks. And then the next thing you need is the AMI SSL, otherwise it won't work. You won't know how to negotiate Amiga OS 3. 60, here we go. Look at all this fun stuff. That's it. So make sure all hard drive activity is done. And 3-finger salute. And if all goes well when we come back, we'll have eyebrows up and running and an internet connection. In glorious 800 by 600 256 color mode. Which, if you watch my video on the 1200, we were also running in 256 color mode, but in high-res interlace, and yeah, it was sluggish, and the refresh was really slow. But maybe this is what something the 4000 will do us a little better. So Roadie, if I recall, Roadie is up and running. It might take a second to negotiate and connect, but one of the things you can do if you're paranoid about it, you can just wait and launch eyebrows and see if it works, or you can double-click Roadie and do a net status. So connect is ghosted, so that's telling me right now it's connected, and if I say show net status, indeed, it's showing me that it has an IP and it's up and running. So that's how fast that was. So we go to work, go over to eyebrows, fire it up. Yeah, so there you go. We're on the internet. Yay. There you go. That's the video. I've shown you eyebrows before. I have a whole video on that. So if you want to see eyebrows on Amiga and all the fun ways to configure it to make it faster and stuff, I've got those videos. This is just confirming that, sure enough, we are up and running on this 4000 with the Xsurf 100 using Roadie and Roadshow, and it worked, except we did discover that the CD-ROM drive is terrible and makes sounds that really honestly frighten me, and it sounded like a Star Wars show going on. So yeah, I mean, you can see that here's the scrolling, by the way, if you want to see what a Retina card does. 256, 800 by 600. I know this doesn't look great, but it was still actually technically better than what the 1200 was doing, because the 1200 was having a lot of lag updating those graphics. So I hope you enjoyed this really long, exciting, boring video of me fumbling around and once again working without a script. YouTube's most poorly produced, underproduced Amiga channel. Hold and modify, and this is Q. All right, I'm done with this video.